Hi guys, it's Jimmy Luna and I'm here to connect the movie Himala by Miss Nora Honor. The second golden age of Philippine cinema from 1970s to 1980s is undeniably rich with classic Filipino masterpieces that still stand the test of time. Despite the intense political tension and the media censorship brought upon by the Marcos regime during this particular period, the Filipino filmmakers still managed to deliver their message across by creating a subtle but powerful dramas that very much highlight the socio-political issues that have always plagued our country. Directed by the late Ismael Bernal and written by Sir Rick Kelly, the film tells the story of a Bayu lass named Elsa, Nora Honor, who claims to experience a visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary after she went on a hill during a solar eclipse. Her story was met with skepticism at first by townsfolks, but she later convinces them after she engages in treating the sick people through the power of faith healing. And the question is she the new savior? They seem to believe so. Blind faith and fanatism plague the poor town of Kupang, which represent a microcosm of a society that is so desperate to cling onto something that will give them hope in this world full of hopelessness. It's important to note that we never actually see anyone cured by Elsa's miracle. Only her says, which is far from the truth. Even the lead character herself was portrayed in a mysterious way. Mahirap lang tayo kung di tayo maniniwala ano matitira sa atin. Said by one character, reminding us that they are just in fact the victims who are only holding on to any form of higher power to make sense of the harsh realities and socio-political inequities they encountered in the real world. Himala was also set and produced in the Philippines, a predominantly Christian country. However, the film doesn't really condemn religion at all, more like criticizing the institutions behind it and what they become, brainwashing people with shallow-based teachings and also commercialization that comes with it. This is most evident when the inhabitants of Kupang try to boost their economy by exploiting Elsa and their small town's newfound popularity. Countless religious items, bottles of mineral water that have been blessed by Elsa herself, for example, were shamelessly produced and sold to the locals and tourists, just for some extra income. There's also Orly, a spunky mannequin, a skeptical Manila-based filmmaker who arrives in the small town to exploit the story of Elsa by making a documentary about her, even if it means harming some people along the way, just for the sake of the scoop. The arrival of Nimia, a former prostitute and Elsa's childhood best friend, who has returned from the big city, also takes advantage of the whole Elsa situation by establishing a cabaret bar together with her father as a means to profit from the tourists and the guests that constantly visit their town. This is immediately frowned upon by Elsa and her apostols, which they later closed down. Much to Nemia's dismay, in a scene where she begs Elsa to not close down her business. But Elsa slipped off the tongue by mentioning that her cabaret is producing horse, which offends Nemia. And she said, "Bakit? Yung ginagawa niyo ba ni Mrs. Alba? Hindi pagpuputo sa mga tao? Pinagbibilhan ninyo sila ng himala." Then Elsa replied, "Tinutulungan namin sila." Elsa calmly replied, in which Nimia clapped back at her by saying that they are both horse and they are not so different of each other. A piece of dialogue like this is what makes Himala a brutal in its commentary. With the help of its brilliant cinematography, the film captures a despairing attitude in the surreal atmosphere of its milieu by constantly showing shots of wasted landscapes, which creates a haunting mood throughout that almost feels like a quiet horror film. Plus, the marvelous shot compositions are as close to perfect as you can get, like a beautiful piece of art that frames its subjects in a well throughout manner. The placement of a church choir like musical score also heightens the eeriness of the story. But of course, one cannot talk about this film without mentioning Miss Nora Honor's performance, which is perhaps the greatest in her career. She plays Elsa with alluring and quiet grace, perfectly capturing the mysterious ambiguity of her character. She is joined by other supporting players that also get to shine on their own. Plus, who can forget the brutal climax near the end that basically speaks with the absurdity of the whole thing. With great confidence, Elsa finally addresses her devotees on the hill, delivering a powerful monologue that eventually became an iconic piece of quote in the Philippines cinema. Walang himala. Ang himala ay nasa puso ng tao. Nasa puso nating lahat. Tayo ang gumagawa ng mga himala. Tayo ang gumagawa ng mga sumpa at mga Diyos. Char. What happens next is a shocking moment that will definitely keep viewers on the edge of their seat. By using 3,000 extras, Bernal masterfully executed one of the most horrifying scenes ever to exist in the Philippine cinema history. An intense violent stampede, complete with deafening scream and never-ending cries of the people that are enough to make your skin crawl because of how it highlights the downfall and ugliness of the humanity. Unfortunately, the film ends on a tragic note that basically represents how our society will choose to remain ignorant and in denial of the truth just to make sense of things. And in conclusion, Himala is undoubtedly, undoubtedly. In conclusion, Himala is undoubtedly breathtaking, an experience unlike no other. It's been nearly 40 years since the film was released, but its theme regarding blind faith and fanaticism are still relevant up to this day. If it if it doesn't leave you trembling or an uncomfortable state by the end, then you are not paying attention to the movie. That's all. Thank you.